like a roll call beginning on my left.
Randy Chase, Nashville.
Reese Smith, Franklin.
Jerry Hayes, Paris.
Bill Mason, Greenbrier.
Keith Whittington, Johnson City.
So moved.
Second.
In favor?
Aye.
The ayes have that. Now, we need to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. While we're there, on the hardships, have, the Russells are here, would like.
Hello, my name is Kay Russell, and we are builders, and we were building a house. And I guess I don't know if I need to. Anyway, let me back up for a little bit. 2015, we bought some property, 9 lots and a 37-acre tract, and we started building houses in there on the lots that were already developed, and we had some homeowners who decided that they were going to make a homeowners association, even though they hadn't had one. There had been provisions for one since 2006, and that started with a letter from Stormwater, from Metro, saying that the stormwater areas needed to be mowed and maintained, but there was no provision, and also that land had never been turned over to the homeowners. We did not own any of that land either. For some reason, Metro sent them to us, I guess because we had just purchased some lots in there and land. Anyway, we started building in 2016, and so we have two people. We have homeowners that the original. They're trying to raise the amount of square footage that you build on the lots. These are cluster lots, so there's not a lot of footprint there, and about all you can get on a one-story is $1,500. They raised that to $1,850. At the same time that we're trying to build in there, unbeknownst to us, Metro raised their per square foot rate on the permitting. We weren't sure about that. The house that we were starting to build had a full living area downstairs with 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, living room, dining room, kitchen, laundry room, and 2-car garage, but it also had expansion area upstairs. So we were framing that one when we got somebody called. I'm sure I know who it probably was, called, and so from that call came an investigation, and I would like you to please look at our limit increase. We have supplied the necessary. We did the $150,000 line of credit from our bank. We have other sources of income. In the past, we've had licenses over $400,000. Right before we purchased this, I'd been through 2 years worth of cancer, so we had not done. We'd been quiet, not done a lot until the doctor gave me okay to start again. And in order to be, I've got the house there that's half completed. You can live on the downstairs, but there is upstairs framed. And that is to meet the homeowners that they've decided that they want in square footage. And I signed the consent. I might be rambling a little bit, but I'm trying to get this off. I signed the consent and paid the $1,000 fine, trying to make things right and trying to, we're not the kind of people to lawyer up. We do what we say. We're peoples of our word. And I was just trying to make everything right. I didn't know that there was a meeting on November the 9th that I should have attended. I didn't know that, or I would have been here. So I'm asking you to reconsider our line of credit, and we have supplied the monetary documents necessary to increase it, and increase it to $400,000, so that we can move forward. I appreciate that. Do you have any questions or anything?
They're unlicensed?
They were in excess. They were exceeding their monetary limit, which makes them unlicensed, throws them in that
They
law.
have a license for it?
Yes.
And they applied for an increase?
After they had already pulled the permit, and I think a stop work order was issued.
Right, yeah, we were just finishing the first floor. You know how in the 1950s they built houses where you could have full living area on the first floor and then the second floor you could finish later? That was the plan that we were building, so.
But to 1850, that puts you over your limit, your license, your monetary limit?
Monetary limit, yes. It's 205, what was it, 205, 100 or something like that. And so,
1,500 puts you under your,
yeah, if I could do that, but then the homeowners raised the thing trying to keep us out of there. Bottom line is we bought the land that they hunted on, they still want to hunt. And,
Oh, you had a permit, you had to go by the new,
yeah.
It was because the permit wasn't for the whole house. They permitted it in phases.
And if you could reconsider, then we could make everything right and have.
are into their 6 months, are they? Or how much longer?
And my bank would like me to be able to finish the house and also be right with everything. And so would I. I'd sleep better at night if everything was, at rest. We just want to do the right thing, that's all.
I want to look at the file. I think Jerry has it.
The rest of everything else is in order in the file, right? As far as their financials together.
You have any other lots in there to build on?
Yes, 5 more. Would you like to buy one? We have 5 more, plus we have 37 acres that was already approved for a concept plan and another 50 lots. We're not developers. I'm going to sell that. That's beyond us, but that we do have 5 developed lots left in there to do.
I would make the motion that we approve the $400,000 limit and
Second.
those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, ayes have it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm going to skip over the election of officers and put that at the bottom. So I need a motion to adopt Robert's Rules of Order.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adopt Robert's Rules of Order with the provision that the chair can vote on all motions.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? adopted. Conflict of interest policies. Everybody signed their conflict of interest policy.
It's just an annual thing that you have to do every year, so it's under your agenda. Just sign it before you leave.
Transcript for November 29th, 2016.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the board transcripts for both November 29th and December 6th.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. License approval. First, let's go with the waived. Do I have a motion? Or is there discussion?
Through the waive list.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Next, we got the interview.
I've got a couple of folks that I interviewed today that disclosed a felony conviction in their past. The first one was A1 Concrete Leveling, 70691. The gentleman was Joshua Reinhold, who had a felony conviction for burglary in 1999 in the state of Indiana. He served no jail time, served 4 years of probation, and was released from his probation. He's had a clean record since then, has worked in the industry, has some really solid recommendations from rec letters from other folks. His record is clean now in the state of Tennessee and Indiana. And I would recommend that we grant his license as a residential contractor with a monetary limit of $250,000. We want to do them
all.
together. Okay. The second one was PTC Properties, 70618. Again, this gentleman had a felony. His name is Jacob Becker. He had a felony in the state of Iowa in 1997. Did 18 months of jail time, 6 months probation. He was released from probation, has a clean record, went to college, did very well in college, has a pardon from the governor of Iowa and some other things. So he's got some great rec letters from folks as well. So he's cleaned up his act and has done really well working in the industry. I recommend that we grant his request for a license in the amount of $500,000. So those are my two.
Vote on those? Okay. Favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I have one, file number 70701, PUUSH Push Management. It's a new license, new application, felony, been off probation since '02, and I would move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I believe the ayes have that.
I have 5. License number 70549, Integrity Contracting. A close to 20-year-old marijuana conviction when he was a kid. Been clean since then, long off of probation. Wants a BCA and CMCA license. I recommend that we approve. On LLP 3862, Sean Catret had a felony 17 years ago when he was 21 in a domestic dispute, an assault charge. He's long off probation, married, and with kids. Recommend that we approve his. 70684 Highlands Cooling, CMCC application. Both partners had a felony in the past. One for assault during a fist fight when he was 25 years old. He's in his 40s now. One was just out of college and got involved in a business in Florida when he was 19 years old, and it turned out to be a fraudulent business. The two business partners served some long terms. He served a fairly short term, been clean since then. So I I will recommend that we approve that application. Number not assigned, home improvement for new finished construction. He had a drug offense when he was very young. He's now married with 2 children. He made a very good impression. I recommend that we approve his application. And on home improvement 6578, Ezra Construction, let his license lapse, did unlicensed activity in the meantime, and I recommend a $250 civil penalty. So I move those recommendations.
Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I didn't have any to present.
Okay. What about revisions?
Mr. Chairman, before we do revisions, there were 4 brought to me by staff that are not on the list.
Okay.
And so to include on the list, 61834 Cornerstone Building Group LLC, a name change. 68046 BMC West LLC, a mode from a corporation to an LLC. 47614 Robert Roberts LLC, an increase to $1,105,000. And 46095 Cleary Building Corporation, an increase to $1,500,000. And all of those to be approved. And I move that we accept the revisions with the addition of those 4.
Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor?
Which one seconded?
I did. You don't care, do you?
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, LLEs.
Mr. Chairman, I reviewed all the LLE applicants and approved all but one. That's license number 18723, and their test score was from 2010, and I'm requesting a new updated exam score before we approve that. Otherwise, my recommendation is to approve all LLE applications, which were all reinstatements.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? LLPs.
For two LLPs, Sean Cartwright, 3862. Who somebody interviewed him? I didn't. He was a
He was
felon.
one of my interviews.
Okay, so we got that taken care of. The other one was Robert Cooper, who wanted to waive his test, and I approved that. That was a new license, LLP. So
Second.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Now we go to Go Build update. I believe we have Mr. David Stansel here to give us a report.
Good morning. Thanks for having me here today. I'm really here to answer any questions you have, but just to give you a little bit of update on things that we've been doing this past year, and we'll have an official report that is due 90 days after year end, including audited financials and so forth. I tried to get something out of our auditors to bring to you today, and they said it'll be ready before March, the end of March. So I do have some, I know what we spent, so if there are any specific questions I can answer. But on the TV side, we targeted all 95 counties, including Chattanooga, Jackson, Knoxville, Memphis, Nashville, and Tri-Cities, Bristol cities. There were 22,000 total spots that ran last year. The big one I want to point out that I think was a great value was the Battle of Bristol. We advertised in that and got a good value by basically committing early. And they measure these things by total impressions, which is the number of people they think saw the ad. And we think 537,000 people saw the ad during that event. And it reached 99% of our target audience that were watching. So that's we're really excited about that one. We also ran 3,500 radio spots with 10.5 million impressions, which the reach there was 75. So the TV was 99% of 18 to 34-year-olds. The radio reached 75% of people aged 35 to 65, so a little bit different group. On the digital, We had 38 million impressions. We were on these sites: NBC, WeatherBug, Priceline, Billboard, CNN, YouTube, Kayak, About, Realtor, the Weather Channel, U.S. News, People, Bing, Rolling Stone, and okay. All right. It's a bunch of websites. But the ones that people like me see, the Nashville and Memphis Business Journals, there was 5 days of site takeover, which is where when anybody goes to their website, basically every ad that you could possibly see on their site is all Go Build, which kind of makes an impression. But there were 344,000 impressions from that. Spotify, 940,000 impressions, which is you guys know what Spotify is, it's a streaming thing. Movie theaters, this was an interesting one. There were 120,000 spots shown in movie theaters with 2.4 million impressions. We have 4,500 Facebook fans and 93,000 video views from Facebook. On the grassroots side, we've attended more than 25 events between launch in May and December 1st. We're planning a more significant grassroots presence this year, including something called Career Quest Tennessee, which is an event in Johnson City. And we've deployed more than 150 Go Build toolkits, educator toolkits, including informational materials, posters, handouts, and things like that. So that's kind of what we've been doing, and this year you'll see less TV ads. We spent a significant amount of money on TV ads last year. This year you'll see a lot less of that, but we're focusing our efforts on the digital piece, but we will be strategic. If we can get another Battle of Bristol type opportunity, we'll probably do that. But grassroots is kind of our focus this year. So any specific questions about?
Minutes that were handed out to us are cut off at the right, so I can't really read some of it. Have you got?
I can email these to you.
Email these to us so we can see them in their entirety. We get the general impression, but there's several words cut off on the side.
Are you referring to the minutes from our October 26th board meeting?
Yes.
Well, I don't have the very last page, but all it says is respectfully submitted. So if you want to.
Well, I think it'll be sufficient for me just to get one electronically.
Okay.
So rather than make you read it out today. So
I think I sent that to Carolyn, but if you need it again, just let me know. And actually, we'll have a board meeting tomorrow morning. So as soon as I get the minutes from that, I can send that to you as well.
Like you're making an impact, a lot of stuff. I mean, a lot of people looking at it. Can you tell the impact that we're making?
Well, I certainly hope so. The way we intend to measure that, which is the ultimate for us, is how many more people are going into training programs for construction. And it's too early to. I mean, I don't have those numbers, but. I wouldn't expect a huge bump just yet, but I think this year would be the year we'll start to see, since we only just started last May. So I would hope that this year would be a year we would see an increase over last year, for example. So that's what we're.
Back from some schools and that kind of thing, training centers and.
So there's quite a bit of interest. I know that at the end in. October timeframe, I think we had sent out something like 75 of those educator toolkits, and there was so much interest and requests for more that we ended up sending out another 75 just between then and the end of the year. So that's exciting. Yeah, a lot of excitement and interest. Obviously, not yet the result, but it's too early to have that measurement. But I think next year, when we see the results for 2017. To me, that's when we'll know if we're making a difference.
I do get a lot of calls, requests, wanting to know what people can do to get shop classes back in their high schools. And is that anything you all could push toward with part of this Go Build? It's mainly educating the educators to get them to get those shop classes back in there, maybe survey the students to see who wants to take them and use their funds to teach that. So, but that is an inquiry I get quite a bit, is they want to have shop class in our high schools again.
I don't know the specific answer to that other than we want that too. And we do have materials that help encourage that and help drive people to be interested in that. We have some materials, even some TV spot-like materials, videos that encourage people to go to shop class. I don't know if you guys have seen them, but they're clever. But the actual classes itself, I only know from my other activities that the State Department of Education has quite a bit of materials about that. There's resources available to do that. So, just this is separate from Go Build Tennessee, but we participate on a board that advises the Department of Education and guides them on what is relevant, so they stay kind of with what's actually happening instead of what was in some materials from a long time ago. So that there is quite a bit of activity there. And I know there's a new person in charge of that just reached out asking if we'd wanted to continue to be on that board. So I think there's some renewed interest. I think there are materials available. I know nothing about how you put a class in school.
That it's out there, so thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Date on our meeting yesterday.
We had a meeting yesterday with representatives of the Attorney General's office, the Finance Administration Department, our council, Commerce Department staff. It was a huge meeting. I thought it was going to be 2 or 3 people, a comptroller. There was a lot of people there. Our concern was that we would show at the end of the fiscal year, 2 years or more in a row, that we're running in the red. Trigger an automatic review by oversight in the legislature. There was a lot of explanation of the accounting techniques, which I'll be honest with you, I'm not an accountant and not completely sure about, but we were assured that the money did, in the end, finally come out of the reserve, and Carolyn has confirmed that. It's a bounce strategy where they move it from the reserve to general fund, then on to the Go Build program. But it did show us in the red, as we know, and which got the board concerned, and so we have been assured that with footnotes and narratives attached to the statement that should be explanatory enough, but we're still kind of concerned, I think, Jerry, that if it happens again at the end of this next fiscal year, that there could be some kind of automatic review from the legislature, which we don't want, and it would not be necessary or warranted even. And so we're going to try to avoid that happening in the end, because as I pointed out yesterday, when you're having to explain things, you're behind already, and you don't want to be in a position of having to explain. So we did ask some questions, some legal questions, which our counsel is going to research and have an answer for us hopefully at the next board meeting. Apparently spending out of the reserve for this board can't be done without approval through the legislative budget that's approved, the legislature's budget. But spending out of what's in the operating budget, we're not sure. And I pointed out that we have, and of course these were policy questions more than legal questions, although there is a legal question involved, that we have things we've wanted like continuing education, public education, and the printing of books, that we want to know if we have the authority to spend out of the operating budget to do those things on our own initiative. And we're going to find out a legal answer to that, and if council can't find a definitive legal answer in the statute, then we can again go to the Attorney General, and they said they'd be willing to give us a definition on that. So I think in the end we can we want to be sure that we're treated fairly, and this is a very profitable board for the Department of Commerce. I don't guess that's the way to put it, but it does bring in a lot of revenue, and that we're not considered to be in the red when we really aren't. And so, and then we want to know what our authority is as a board. So it was a productive meeting, and it was at the very end of the day, so it was a very good turnout for the very end of the day. But, and if that, anything else you need to add to that, Jerry was there as well.
No, I think you pretty well covered it all. They teach us to be complaining. Y'all have any questions about the meeting? Okay. On the agenda is a request for stay.
Morning, gentlemen. I don't know if you remember me, but you do, huh? We had a hearing on November 30th, and the respondent's name was Paul Akins as Charter Electrical Contractors, and in that hearing, he did not appear, and you all voted to revoke his license. The order was signed on December 1st, and the entry date was December 1st. Mr. Akins wrote a letter dated December 15th, postmarked December 30th, and received by the state on December 5th. And this is the letter he wrote. To whom it may concern, I, Paul Akins, owner of Charter Electrical Contracts, would like to request a stay on the order in question. It is also my contention that this case should be dismissed. I was unable to attend the hearing because of a sudden death in the family and would like to request another hearing. Just to add, if I may, this complaint is totally without merit and false accusations have been made against me and my company. The house in question was vandalized and then blame placed on me for not completing the work. I have many answers to your complaint, so I ask you grant the hearing so I can explain why these allegations are completely false. That is the request of his stay. In the order of December 2nd, I just want to read you what the law says about when you can and can't ask for a stay. Any party may petition the board for a stay of the final order within 7 days after the entry of the final order. As I said earlier, this was entered on the December 1st. 7 days would be December 8th at the earliest, or December 9th at the latest. He did not fall within that limitations. He did get a copy of this. He also could have filed a petition for reconsideration within 15 days of that final order. He did not do that either. He does have 60 days to file for an appeal to Chancery Court, and that time is still pending. In any event, what I've come here to tell you is the stay has he has been requesting a stay. It is outside the legal limits for that request, and so my plan is to tell him so in a letter. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to entertain that.
I would have been inclined to agree with that.
And if he files an appeal, I shall let you know about that as well. Thank you for your time.
So, as you guys learned, we are kind of changing the way we're handling complaints and the department. And going forward, Lindsay and Shalina are going to be the specific litigators assigned to this board. So that means that they're going to handle complaints from the time that they're referred to us by the board all the way through to closing. So I still had a couple of complaints on the legal report, just because complaints that were still mine that had been assigned to me before we restructured. But going forward, they're going to attend at least probably most of the board meeting, but always the portions of the board meeting with the subcommittees and to handle the legal report. I know that it seemed like there were a lot of attorneys in here today, but as our litigators are disposing of cases that had been assigned to them before the restructure, you'll see less and less of that, and it will just be the three of us, me, Lindsay, and Shalina. I'm still attending all the board meetings. I'm still doing all your rulemaking. I'm still the person to write memos about board authority on the budget. And the three of us have kind of been working as a team. So if you guys have any questions about the restructure, please let me know. But I'm going to let Lindsay and Shalina go through, and I've told them how we usually do the legal report. And if there's any...
that there were changes made to. Number 3, complaint number 2016-034-981. We're changing that to litigation monitoring. Number 6, 2016-042-851. We're going to close. Numbers 9 and 10, we're going to put a hold on until we can reach out to the Metro codes. Regarding stormwater, right? Number 16 we discussed, but is the maximum penalty.
So you did check that out?
Yes. Number 20, we're going to, it's complaint number 2016-059-711. We're going to close. 21, there are 2 complaint numbers, 2016-060811 and 2016-060812. We're going to put in litigation monitoring. Skipping to number 45, complaint number 2015-008582. We're going to change to license revocation. And
That was a voluntary revocation.
yes. And then the rest were accepted, including the addenda. A case that was requested to be represented after we had sent out the legal report to you. The subcommittee was given a copy of that. I have copies if the rest of the board members are interested in reading it, but.
We'll still get our report emailed to us a day or two before, and y'all's initials will be, which won't make any difference to us, but we'll still go through them, and then you'll meet with our subcommittee. Okay.
And just to make sure, don't do it on Monday, do it on Thursday or Friday. A lot of us, especially me, I have to leave early in the day Monday, which affords me no opportunity to review it. I had it plenty of time before and could review it, and that's the reason. I didn't think Reese was even going to be here, and I knew Ronnie wasn't, so it just helped me to have it in plenty of time to review through it.
Move we accept their legal report.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, updates on formal hearings, legislation, and so forth.
Just since November, we have held 5 altogether formal hearings for unlicensed activities. So we had 3 in December and 2 in January. So that tells us, lets you know that we are moving forward with that. Most of them, the judges have I think it's 45 days or 90 days to make a decision on what the penalty will be. But we did have one made yesterday for $500 out of a $1,000 penalty. And I think the judge considered that because the contractor had lost a judgment in court. He had lost like $5,000 plus change orders close to $10,000. It was a insurance deal where the homeowner didn't want to pay for the change owners, and at the same time he was unlicensed. So the judge only assessed him $500 penalty on that one, and then on another one the judge gave him the maximum, which was $5,000 on that. So that's where we are on those. Any questions about formals? These are the same ladies that conduct the formals as well. No hearings tomorrow.
How are we on backlogs? Are there, or do we have some a year old?
I believe there are some that are a year old. As we make the transition, there are other attorneys in the office that are still handling some of the contractor board cases. So, of course, we have some as well that are dated and the new ones. So I really can't answer as to the backlog. I don't necessarily.
Probably preaching to the choir, but the minutes should reflect that this board has said we'll meet 2 and 3 days at a time. We'll meet in between times. If you want to schedule 4 in one day, it seems like only one of them turn out. We'll be willing to end that meeting and stay as long as we can and do whatever.
They would like to have them, like if you could schedule some like at 1 o'clock on the meeting dates, because they're usually free the rest of the day to do hearings. So, and we talked to a couple of the judges, and they said that they were fine with doing hearings starting at 1, that they didn't have a problem with that.
Now, I also did notice that on the meeting calendar, there was a date set for the contractor board in February. Is that just a tentative date or a date?
It's we give those dates to you all, that if you want to use these dates in between meetings to set up more formals, then the board will come in. We just need to let them know ahead of time that there will be a formal coming up.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, every other, in between months, they now have, it's usually, I think we set it for like the last Tuesday of the month for you all to have additional days if needed.
So the request has been made for ALJs on those in-between months?
Yes.
I will say that part of the restructure decision is the attempt to move cases more quickly, and I think that that's already happening. That's what we've been told, and also to have dedicated litigators to the board, because before I was trying to settle cases, and then when I didn't, I would send it over to the litigator, and there would be all this lag time. So what they've done instead is I've taken on more boards, and I'm doing more counsel to directors. But instead of just giving all of these backlog cases to Lindsay and Shalina, I know that there was a push for some of our other litigators to pick them up so that we can start working on it. So it's definitely a problem that's being addressed. I just think it's going to take some time to really fix it.
Next update I wanted to give is on legislation. Right now, I've only been given or found one bill that has anything to do with construction, and it is a caption bill. Right now, it says it applies to design professionals, but it has opened up the Title 62, which is our law, and so that's just a bill we need to watch for. To see if any amendments come on that affect contractors, but that's the only one I've received so far. Okay.
Is there any idea what the aim might be?
No. The aim for that bill.
Caption bill usually has something.
Well, the language of that bill, it did have language in the bill which kind of talked about when public entities have hired certain design professionals to amend those contracts. Sometimes they have to go back through the entire RFP process, and this was giving the public entities a chance to amend the contracts with the design professionals that they have hired. But it opened so many different broad sections of the TCA that we're keeping a watch on it.
And lastly, a budget update. Let's see. It's also in the department's figures or in your iPad, but these are from my books. It will show what our balance is without putting my figures show the bill withdrawal from the reserve. This was the format that I had met with Dennis Harmon, one of the gentlemen in the meeting yesterday, on how to do a balance sheet, in-house balance sheet for the board that reflects the true numbers. And this is also only as of November, so usually at the end of January, I'll get an update.
Okay. Is that everything on the budget? Any questions?
Do you have anything else to bring to them? So I think we can go ahead and go with the election if y'all want to go ahead and elect officers at this meeting.
Process. Nominations for the position of secretary.
I'd like to nominate Randy Chase.
Second.
Secretary. Next, we need vice chairman.
I'd nominate Bill.
Second.
Motion and a second. Bill, I hear a motion to approve that nomination by acclamation. Second.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I believe we have a new vice chairman. Now we need that all-important one, less important. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to nominate, in his absence, Ronnie Tickle.
Second.
The rest of them.
Yeah, he'll be here. Nomination and a second. Do I hear a motion that that nomination be approved by acclamation?
So moved.
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I believe Mr. Tickle is the new chairman.
Teach you not to show up on it.
Yeah.
But Bill takes over now.
Without any other business, this meeting is adjourned.
Very good.